Can you believe I'm back with another video? Look at me, just killing it this year. Hardly. Anyways, so this is a project I have been wanting to do for quite some time. I was inspired to actually start by, oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. She has two YouTube channels, The Inky Quill and Let's Get Inky. And she has a journal called her Jamie Journal that was a cookbook that she started using as like an art journal type memory keeping journal. So if you remember from my Instagram a handful of years ago, not even that many, I found these Time Life sewing books at a thrift shop. They're very cool. My mom used to have them when I was a kid. And all the covers are different. They have different themes on the inside as far as sewing patterns and styles go. But the covers are fabric. And I don't know, I've had my mom on my mind a lot lately, and butterflies and orange and yellow were her thing. So I thought I'd start with this book. And I had to repair the spine first because it was cracked, as you could see. So I did that. This this art journal page took me a couple days because it's been a really long time since I've done anything like this. So I'm just kind of getting my feet wet, and you'll see there's some struggle for a while. And in the end's okay. It turned out better than I expected, but not as good as I had hoped. But I am just getting back into this, so that's what my art practice is all about. So I'm just jumping right into the first page and covering it with some gesso. I forgot that I have the Liquitex Basics gesso, and it does not cover as well as whatever the level up is, but this is all they had when I purchased it last year. And these bottles last forever, so I'm just going to use it till it's gone because, again, I'm trying not to buy anything. The coverage isn't what I expected, but I wanted to pick a focal image because I know I wanted to collage something in there. And I decided to go with this girl in the robe, kind of at the sunset, and kind of do the theme around those colors. Um, so I started with a background, hoping that this color, which is, I don't know, Amsterdam, but it's not an opaque paint. So I was hoping that that would cover it a little bit more, and I ended up having to add some white to kind of mute it down and get a little bit more coverage. Um, and then I just took that cutout and folded her in half so she would sit in the middle of the page. And I glued down one side first and then the other side. That I think is also a tip from, oh my God, I really need to look up her name. The gal that runs the Inky Quill, um, or Let's Get Inky. That was kind of her tip for putting images in the center. And I am using some Liquitex matte medium to secure her down and also kind of make that paint a little bit more matte because acrylic paint tends to be shiny, if not just satin, and that's what makes the pages stick together. Wednesday here decided she needed to make an appearance, but don't worry, it's not going to be her first appearance or her only appearance, it's just her first. So I wanted to kind of blend her into the background and I kind of failed at doing that. It's okay. Trust the process. I'm trying to reteach myself that my art practice is about trusting the process and just doing it. It doesn't have to be a work of art. It doesn't have to be quote unquote Instagram worthy or social media worthy. I just wanted to make some marks and get my fingers painty. And so I grabbed a piece of this teeny tiny bubble wrap that I had laying around and used some fluid, I think it's golden, yes, fluid acrylic in yellow, Hansa yellow. And you can't really see it too well. I did a lot of yellow, and you'll see at the end I do add a pop of color. But I'm just grabbing different tools. There was really no reason for me to grab this fan brush other than I hadn't used it and I wanted to. So I'm just adding some lightness around her. Again, I wish I would have, hindsight, right? I wish I would have cut that white around her, but then I probably would have cut out that sunburst. So it works out in the end. The white was too stark white, so I added a little bit of yellow to it and continued to paint around. And then I thought there was like a peach color, and I just wanted to make some marks at the bottom. Again, really hard to see and really makes zero bit of difference in this layout. the end of the day, again, mark making, just kind of getting my fingers painty and getting my wrists used to the movement again. I'm big into splatters, so I thought I would use some liquid. I think this is De La Rowney Fluid Acrylic in gold. Again, doesn't show up very well because when you're mixing things that are all the same color, it doesn't really show too well. But again, just the practice of getting that paint on the paper, that was really all I was after. So I'm just cleaning up the image that I glued down, and I knew it needed some black, so I grabbed my Tim Holtz tissue paper for some like contrast. And I do love this tissue paper, but what I don't love about it is that the white does not disappear into the background as well as I would like it to. It does okay, but it's a thicker tissue paper. I think it kind of has to be printed on. It works well for other projects, but I'm just kind of randomly gluing some pieces down to add a little bit of contrast because I didn't really feel like stamping. And I'm just kind of bringing it into both sides to add some cohesion to it. And I use really cheap brushes from Michaels to do my matte medium because they're really fine and soft and dense. And then I wanted to make sure, I wanted to somehow like have, because the quote I was going to use just kind of went with this whole theme. So I grabbed an old, I think this is a Heidi Swapp stencil from a million years ago, and a makeup sponge, and I'm just dabbing on some white around the girl to kind of make her look like she's radiating light. Again, the quote will make sense. This will make sense once you read the quote or I tell you what the quote is. And so I'm just dabbing on some white. I'm trying not to do hard edges because I want it to kind of taper off. So I had to go back here and find the right ray and kind of blend that out a little bit. And then this is, I'm really trying to love my handwriting and not print everything or do everything in stamps, but I write very crooked if I don't have lines or dots. So I went in with a pencil and drew some lines about an inch apart. And then I hand lettered the quote with pencil just so I could decide if I liked it or not, because you can always erase it. It is a little hard to erase on paint, but you can. And so I decided it was fine, and then I went over it with a black pen, which apparently I cut out, or maybe I have it in a different order. And Wednesday wanted to make an appearance again, so there she is. And then I'm just going to go through and erase all the lines. I don't know where that clip went. I wonder if it's at the end somewhere. I've been having a hard time. My computer doesn't have a whole lot of memory, and so importing these videos, because there was 7 different videos, if you can't tell by all the jump cuts, there were 7 different videos that I had to import in order to get this to be a complete video. So I'm sorry if it's kind of messy. I'm still learning how to record, and one day I'll get a real camera, but for now I'm just using my phone. It does what it needs to do, and it talks to my computer. And then I just grabbed a black Posca pen, and I wanted to add some black kind of around her. In my head, I don't know what I envisioned, more doodles, but instead I just did black dots, just to add a little bit more contrast and make her kind of pop from the page. And I'm noticing while I'm doing this that the yellow is so much. I don't even like yellow. I really only chose it because that's the color of the image. So I just added some dots to kind of make it contrast there. And then the very last word is sincerity. And I wanted to stamp it, but then I decided, no, I'm just going to write it because it'll be quicker and easier. And I really just wanted to get this page done. So the quote says, "I'm very picky with whom I give my energy to. I prefer to reserve my time, intensity, and spirit exclusively to those who reflect sincerity." So just kind of those rays around her to me are kind of like reflecting. And again, with the splatters, I wanted to do some white. I splatter everything. It's just what I do. I don't know why. So I start splattering, and then again, Miss Wednesday decides that she wants to know what's going on, and she wants in on the action. So I'm trying to shield her from the paint, but she keeps coming over, and then she gives my book a little love bite on the corner. She's still a kitten, so she's very needy right now, which I'm fine with. I don't mind at all. So again, I needed a pop of color, so I went and added some teal with a watercolor. What is that called? It's like a watercolor crayon. The Caran d'Ache Neo Colors. That's what it is. And then I just blended it out just to add a pop of color, and that's that. I kind of added a little bit more white to the flare, but that's it. So, anyways, not too bad, not exactly what I expected, but hopefully it inspires you to just make something. Have a great day, guys.